Making headlines tonight. The WHO in Cambodia praises the kingdom's vaccination rollout, saying the move to vaccinate 6 to 11-year-olds is a balanced decision. An 80-year-old woman dies in a house fire in Phnom Penh 2 hours after another fire destroys 4 homes in the capital. And as Cambodians get ready to observe Khan Ben, in China it's all about lanterns, lights and mooncakes for the Mid-Autumn Festival. This is the Daily Roundup on the EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Andrew Barnes-Roberts. The World Health Organization's representative in Cambodia, Dr. Lee Ailan, says that the kingdom's decision to vaccinate children from 6 to 11 years old is a risk-based approach and a balanced decision. This follows the Prime Minister's launch of vaccinations for this age group last Friday, saying he was preparing for the reopening of primary schools. EAC News reporter Reo Soko has the story.
The Prime Minister launched vaccinations for children aged 6 to 11 at the Peace Palace on Friday. He says this is the royal government's decision in order to reopen primary schools after secondary schools were successfully reopened last week. No vaccination means no returning to schools. Unvaccinated students can still continue learning, but only at home. For those returning to school, vaccination cards are being checked upon arrival. Phnom Penh mother of twins, Vieri Ath, says at first she was hesitant about getting her 6-year-old twins vaccinated, but says it's the only way they can go back to school. Her twins, Niet Borpek and Niet Bormay Nong, say they're scared of needles, but are now excited to see their classmates when primary schools are allowed to reopen. The WHO's Dr. Lee Ailan says she appreciates the kingdom's vaccination effort, which is setting a very good example in saving lives, although she says that children of this age group are more likely to experience only mild symptoms if they become infected. UNICEF says the same. In a statement released the day before the next phase of the royal government's vaccination campaign was launched, it said while evidence on COVID-19 vaccination among children is still emerging, this has to be weighed against the risk of keeping children away from school for a prolonged amount of time. The capital's primary schools have been closed now for 7 long months. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
Cambodia's healthcare workers continue to deal with a surge in active cases. They are now dealing with 4,751 patients as new daily cases outpace recoveries for a 4th week now. The Ministry of Health confirmed 622 new COVID-19 cases on Monday. This is against 473 recoveries. 14 more Cambodians lost their fight against COVID-19 overnight. The new numbers mean that Cambodia's total number of COVID-19 cases has climbed to 104,716. The death toll stands at 2,123. The number of patients treated successfully since the pandemic reached the kingdom is 97,700. 2 devastating fires raged homes in the capital on Sunday night. An 80-year-old woman was killed in one of the fires, which Phnom Penh firefighters responded to at around midnight. Just 2 hours earlier, another fire was reported that destroyed 4 homes. EAC News reporter Reo Soko has the details.
People were awakened from their sleep when the first of the night's fires broke out at Group 31, Village 3, in Srachak Commune of Phnom Penh District. The capital's fire and rescue department say it started in a computer shop rented by Mia Bunsal. The building was made mostly of wood, so the flames quickly spread to neighboring houses. A total of 4 homes were destroyed, but luckily, there were no injuries. The cause of the fire is now under investigation. But 2 hours later, another fire broke out across the capital. This one in Damnak Thom 4 village in the Stang Mianche 2 commune of Mianche district. The fire was quickly controlled within an hour and did not spread to the neighborhood. But the fire and rescue department says the home's owner, 80-year-old Ross Himya, was trapped by the flames and was killed. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
Cambodians are getting ready to celebrate Khan Ben. The 14-day festival starts on Wednesday and leads into Pachum Ben next month. These are the days when people make offerings to their ancestors at pagodas. On Monday, street vendors were already selling goods for the festival, while others were busy preparing offerings of flowers. During Khan Ben, people give Buddhist monks gifts such as food and candles. Villagers visit their local pagodas to prepare before Pachum Ben, which is the highlight of the festival and is a 3-day national holiday. It sees thousands of people traveling to their home provinces to spend time with their families and honor their ancestors. The Ministry of Water Resources and Meteorology has warned that there'll be some very heavy weather over Cambodia this week. It's warning of heavy rain and an increased risk of flooding. To make things worse, a typhoon is heading for central Vietnam, whose effects will be felt in Cambodia. EAC News reporter Yuri Matosko has more.
Cambodia has only just recovered from floods along the Thai border and has been experiencing light to moderate rain over the past few days. But over the next 48 hours, active low-pressure systems in the South China Sea will bring heavy rains and floods to the lowlands, including the provinces of Phnom Penh, Battambang, Bang, Kampong Spon, and Binh Tay Minh Chay, where the Mangkhut Borei River is already rising. The same low-pressure system is expected to strengthen a typhoon that is forecast to hit Vietnam on Saturday. Remnants of that storm will be felt in Cambodia's northeastern areas, where residents are warned to be vigilant. The ministry says it will continue to issue updates over the next few days. While low-lying areas should be braced for flooding, the ministry says heavy rains will also affect the province of Koh Khon. It is also warning fishermen to be extra cautious due to rough seas. Yuri Matosko, EAC News.
The woman who accuses Britain's Prince Andrew of rape has until close of business on Monday, New York time, to ask a court to change the way she can legally serve papers. Virginia Giuffre's lawyers have been trying for weeks to serve the papers on the British prince. Under US law, a defendant must be served actual papers of a case so that they have been notified of the charges against them. But this is no ordinary defendant. He's Queen Elizabeth II's third child and has not been seen in public for months. Physically handing him a file of papers isn't something people can just do. The papers were originally handed to a police officer guarding Prince Andrew's home near Windsor Castle. The New York court and the prince's legal team said that wasn't good enough. The papers were then sent to the prince's California-based lawyer, and while the New York court said that was sufficient, the prince's legal team disagree. They have until this Friday to appeal that ruling and are also reportedly planning an appeal against the case itself. They want it thrown out because a key witness in the case is dead and the civil suit was filed only years after his death. That man is convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, who committed suicide in his prison cell. He was once a good friend of Prince Andrew's. Virginia Giuffre claims it was Epstein who set her up for sex with the prince numerous times when she was 17 years old. She's now 38. Prince Andrew, who is also known as the Duke of York, has repeatedly denied Giuffre's accusations. His US-based lawyer told a court last week that the case is a baseless, non-viable, and potentially unlawful lawsuit. The next few days will tell if this case will even go ahead. Now for a look at some other news making international headlines this Monday, the 20th of September.
A volcano on the remote Spanish island of La Palma has erupted, sending fountains of lava streaming towards homes, and a plume of smoke and ash into the air above the Cumbre Vieja National Park. About 5,000 people have been evacuated. Authorities had already begun evacuating people and farm animals before the eruption. Dozens of homes have been consumed by the flow of lava, with dozens more in its path. More than 20,000 tremors were felt over a period of 8 days before the volcano finally roared back to life. It had been dormant since 1971.
A capsized riverboat has claimed the lives of 10 people in southwest China. Another 5 are still missing. The ship overturned shortly after it left port in Guizhou province. Preliminary investigations suggest that the ship was blown over by strong winds. Local authorities say the ship was overloaded when the accident happened. At least 46 people were on board, exceeding the maximum capacity of 40. Over a dozen rescue teams have been dispatched to join the search and rescue operation, but heavy downpours and undercurrents have hampered their efforts. 31 passengers have been saved so far.
And U.S. authorities have accelerated the removal of migrants, mostly Haitians, from the border with Mexico. More than 10,000 migrants have been sheltering under the Del Rio International Bridge that connects the city of Del Rio with Ciudad Acuña in Mexico. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security says transfers of migrants will continue in order to ensure that irregular migrants are swiftly taken into custody and removed from the United States. Officials are working with nations where the migrants began their journeys, such as Haiti, Brazil, and Chile, to accept the migrants back. Typically, migrants who arrive at the border and turn themselves into officials can claim asylum if they fear being returned to their home country.
Coming up after the break here on the Daily Roundup, a look at your sports news. Stay with us. EAC News fully supports the Royal Government of Cambodia's preventative and administrative measures against COVID-19. But we need you to play your part in helping bring the 20 February community transmission event to an end. Wash your hands regularly, sanitize wherever possible. Keep an eye on your body temperature. Use the Stop COVID QR code and maintain a safe social distance. But above all, please, 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 wear a mask. Only together can we beat COVID-19. EAC News' audience is growing. Our YouTube channel has over 150,000 verified subscribers. To mark the milestone, we've received the Silver Creator Award from YouTube. It's given to channels with over 100,000 subscribers. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki says the award celebrates EAC News' hard work and incredible achievement. She says we brought a unique voice and style to the world, but have also created valuable connections and built a community along the way. The next milestone we're going for is 1 million subscribers, and we'd really like that Gold Creator Award. So if you're not already a subscriber, head to YouTube and search for EAC News. Subscribers get alerts when the Daily Roundup is premiering and live events are streaming. Get all the latest breaking news and updates from Cambodia in English. The EAC News channel on YouTube. Cambodia made clear. If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me, Andrew Barnes-Roberts, and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear. The French Football Association has launched an investigation into crowd trouble at a Ligue 1 derby at the weekend. Kickoff to the match's second half was delayed by more than half an hour after the pitch was stormed. It should have been a great Saturday afternoon. The Ligue 1 derby was between RC Lens and Lille, but their fans just couldn't keep themselves under control. It all started just before half-time, when Lens and Lille fans in the Tranan stand began throwing things at each other. Supporters from the Merek stand then ran onto the pitch, prompting action by riot police and stewards. When the game eventually resumed, some 50 riot police were posted in front of that stand. Crowd trouble has plagued France's top league competition in recent weeks. Earlier this month, Nice were docked 2 points after serious crowd trouble during their game against Marseille. The French government and Football Association have both launched investigations. Barcelona have been hard at work in training ahead of Monday night's league match against Granada, but all the media's attention is on Barca coach Ronald Koeman.
A lot of training going into Monday night's match, most especially after Barcelona's 3-0 defeat at the hands of Bayern Munich last week. They performed so badly that there have already been calls for the coach's resignation, but he's keeping calm and carrying on.
Much of it depends on the results of the team, but there are also things that have been exaggerated. There are things about the team, changes, injuries, and many young people. So I think people who think in what we have, people who know, probably say it's a change in time. But in the end, what matters is winning matches. But it can't be that I have to answer questions before a match against Bayern about whether I will renew my contract for a year. We lost against Bayern, and now probably the next questions will be about whether I fear about my future.
Barcelona have just 7 points after 3 matches in La Liga. Koeman concedes he's under pressure to pick up a full 3 points against Granada and do a lot better the next time his team run out onto the pitch in the UEFA Champions League. They next face Benfica on the 30th of September.
As expected, boxing star Manny Pacquiao has confirmed his retirement from the sport and says he will run for president of Philippines next year. He spent much of the past few years railing against corruption in his country's government and what he calls President Rodrigo Duterte's cozy relationship with China. Pacquiao has been a Philippine senator since 2016. Born into a poor family in the southern Philippines, Pacquiao started his professional boxing career at the age of 16. He quickly gained popularity with his constant wins and knockouts against some of the biggest names in the game. He went on to become named Fighter of the Decade by international boxing associations and was nicknamed the pound-for-pound king by his fans. One of his biggest fights was his showdown with American boxer Floyd Mayweather in 2015. He lost it on points, but it was a fight that would take him into politics and into the Philippine Senate in 2016. He remains a national idol, but unseating Duterte could well become the biggest fight of his life. All right, let's have a look now at tomorrow's weather. And finally, They've been on the shelves here in Cambodia for weeks, and Tuesday is the big day for eating them. Mooncakes are a staple of the Mid-Autumn Festival, which this year falls on the 21st of September. In southern China's Guangdong province, about 20 foreigners marked the Chinese holiday by learning to make Cantonese-style mooncakes from a local chef. They're a big part of the gift-giving that goes with most Chinese festivals. One man said he'd popped into his local store to buy 10 boxes for his friends. By the time the festival is over, tens of billions of mooncakes will have been baked and eaten. But beyond the mooncakes, Mid-Autumn celebrations have been going on for much of the past week. On Friday, a symphony concert and lantern show were held in Nanjing and Kunshan. Also on Friday, over 600 drones formed images of local landmarks. Thousands of Chinese spent the weekend traveling to be with friends and loved ones, to eat mooncakes, admire the moon, and celebrate a good harvest. Thanks for watching the Daily Roundup here on the EAC News Channel. You'll get more breaking news and updates from our website. Head to www.eacnews.asia and also search for EAC News on Telegram and at your favorite app store. More from the EAC News team in the Daily Roundup tomorrow night at 8. I'll see you then.